Korean carmaker Ssangyong is seeking government help to get back on its feet after filing for bankruptcy. Political parties are expected to clash over a bill to allow overseas Koreans to cast votes in domestic elections. And Toyota says it will buy steel plates from Korea's leading steelmaker, POSCO. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Monday, the 12th of January. I'm Nemo Kim. Korea's fifth biggest car maker, Ssangyong Motor, is seeking government support to get back on its feet. The car maker has filed for bankruptcy, and its main creditor, Korea Development Bank, says Ssangyong can return to normal by early next month.
Ssangyong Motor has more than 1,000 affiliates. The government is devising measures to help these companies in the wake of the carmaker's application for bankruptcy. This is to prevent blue-chip companies from going under due to lack of liquidity and other factors. The Knowledge Economy Ministry will hold a meeting with Ssangyong affiliates Tuesday to assess the situation. Ssangyong's main creditor, Korea Development Bank, is reviewing a plan to support the carmaker's headquarters after early next month. The bank says Ssangyong can make it on its own through early February. The company has debts of $604 million, including loans of $230 million from the financial sector, overseas convertible bonds of 200 million euros, and public issues of around $110 million. But the bank says Ssangyong can use its deposits and sales earnings to stay afloat until next month. The court will also determine whether to give the motor company recovery support over the next 4 weeks.
Rival political parties are expected to clash over a bill that will allow Koreans living abroad to cast votes in domestic elections. An extraordinary parliamentary session is scheduled to review and approve the bill this month. The bone of contention is how many Korean expatriates will be given the right to vote.
A bill providing Korean expatriates with rights to vote in domestic elections has been a major issue to the end at the rival parties' negotiations on contentious bills. The ruling and opposition parties set up a special committee on political reform early this month. The committee is tasked with reviewing the bill, giving voting rights to nearly 3 million Korean people living abroad. The rival parties are already busy calculating how much benefits the bill will bring to them. Korean expatriates are generally known to be conservative. Parties differ over determining the ranges of residential status of Korean expatriates to provide voting rights.
우리는 헌법재판소의 의견을 존중하여 해외에 거주하는 대한민국 국적자는 모두 선거권을 가져야 한다는 기본 입장을 가지고 있습니다.
현실적으로 관리 가능한 부분이 어디까지인지 문제 제기를 받는 그런 요소들은 없는지 충분히 검토해서
The ruling Grand National Party wants to grant suffrage to all Korean expatriates, including permanent residents or those who are on a long-term stay. But the main opposition Democratic Party has proposed to first provide voting rights to Koreans on a short-term stay in foreign countries. The Liberal Party says the scope should be gradually expanded afterwards. The Constitutional Court ruled in June 2007 that the current election law is unconstitutional, for it doesn't grant suffrage to Korean expatriates. Parties have sat on their hands regarding the voting bill for 1.5 years. Attention is paid to whether they will be able to narrow gaps and agree to approve the bill by late this month, as they promised.
The world's largest automaker, Toyota, says it will start buying steel plates from Korea's leading steelmaker, POSCO. Toyota's slumping sales have caused the Japanese company to change from Japanese steel to POSCO's cheaper and higher quality version.
Toyota Motor has used steel plates made by Korean steelmaker POSCO for part of its cars for export manufactured in Thailand. But the world's largest car maker has used Japanese-made steel for cars made in Japan and North America to ensure the best quality. But the Japanese daily Asahi Shimbun says Toyota will start using POSCO steel for the first time in domestic production from spring. The company expects to see an annual deficit of $1.6 billion in March due to poor sales. Thus, Toyota is seeking to cut costs by buying POSCO steel. The carmaker is known to have tested POSCO steel and confirmed that its quality equals that of Japanese steel, but is a bit cheaper. POSCO steel materials will be used for the interior as well as exterior of Toyota cars. The Asahi report says Toyota is also considering using POSCO steel at its North American plants when its steel processing plant in Mexico is finished. Fellow Japanese carmakers Nissan and Mitsubishi have already been importing POSCO steel for their domestic plants.
More Japanese tourists are visiting Korea as the Japanese yen grows stronger. The Korean tourism industry is capitalizing on this opportunity to survive the global economic recession.
A duty-free store in Busan is crowded with Japanese tourists. More Japanese are visiting Korea due to the yen's appreciation. The Japanese currency has remained strong since September last year.
食べ物も美味しいし、やっぱりウォンが今安いので、買い物もすごい良かったので、選びました。
Some 1.6 million Japanese people visited Korea in the first 9 months of last year. That's a 4-year high. The Korean tourism industry is strengthening marketing strategies, continue with the Japanese boom. The Japanese travel agencies also show growing interests in the Korean market. Japan's major travel agencies such as JTB and JR Kyushu are sending on-site survey teams to Korea and developing a variety of new ideas.
そういうところで買い物ができますよっていう PR ができれば日本のお客さんにも十分通じるんじゃないかなとは思います。
Experts underscore the need for the domestic travel industry to create synergistic effect by attracting support from local governments and working with other related fields such as the exhibition or convention industry.
사업주에서는 그러한 지자체의 여러 가지 지원 정책을 받아서 보다 적극적으로 활동을 해야 된다고 봅니다.
A boost in the number of Japanese tourists is offering a new opportunity for the Korean tourism industry to weather the global economic storm.
A survey has looked into what the French think of Korea. The Korean martial art Taekwondo is the most well-known aspect of Korean culture in France, but many French people believe the quality of Korean products is low.
A French audience applauds the stunning techniques of the Korean martial art Taekwondo. This national Taekwondo tournament in France attracted around 3,000 spectators.
Les Coréens qui sont très chaleureux, très convivial. C'est un pays qui demande à être connu.
Global market research company Ipsos says Taekwondo is the most well-known aspect of Korean culture based on its survey of 1,400 French respondents. 96% of respondents who are learning Taekwondo say they have a good impression of Korea and its people. In addition, 35% say they're very satisfied with the quality and competitiveness of high-tech Korean products. Other Korean sports and films also made good impressions on the French.
Est une culture que j'admire beaucoup parce que c'est une culture que je trouve comment dire très calme, très ouverte sur les autres.
Still, 30% of French female consumers consider Korean products low in quality and mostly copies. The survey also says many French cannot tell the differences among the cultures of Korea, China, and Japan. Many French also say they think Korea is an unsafe place to visit due to the Korean War and the division of the Korean Peninsula.
Consumers are tightening their belts amid a protracted economic slump and soaring prices. But they haven't stopped spending altogether. Some industries are seeing a boom despite the downturn. Let's find out what they are.
Park Jae-yeon signed up for a cooking class late last year. People are cutting their spending in the face of the slumping global economy. But Park decided to take the class, thinking she could make safe foods on her own.
사 먹으면 좀 불안하니까
내가 만들어서 건강하게 잘 먹을 수 있는 방법을 찾아서 하게 되는 것 같아요.
Many other people apparently have a similar thought in their minds. The number of people taking cooking classes has nearly doubled at the culture center affiliated with the department store. Not all people purchase cheap products in a recession.
그래도 이제 식구가 많지 않고 그러니까 그냥 그 제품을 보고 사죠. 가격에 상관없이.
The sales of relatively expensive organic vegetables and fruits and eco-friendly processed foods tripled last year at a large supermarket store. And the industry of small digital devices and home appliances is continuously growing despite the economic difficulties. In particular, the sales of coffee makers and cameras are on a rise.
고객들이 구매하고 싶어 하시는 어떤 문화를 선도하고 트렌드한 어떤 트렌디한 상품들의 매출 추세는 지금 계속적으로 늘어나고 있는 상황입니다.
Companies are expected to shift their product development and marketing strategies to meet the demand of consumers who purchase safety and value in their spending.
The economic crisis has hit the lower income bracket especially hard. But those suffering from unemployment, illness or other emergencies can now get immediate assistance from the government. Gyeonggi Province has started a new welfare program that gives immediate help to those in urgent situations.
Cho Young-im went blind a year ago due to complications from diabetes. A tumor was found in her chest late last year, but she couldn't go to the hospital because she couldn't afford it. She gave up on receiving surgery, but then a miracle happened. A provincial government body gave her emergency aid of $2,233. She also didn't have to submit forms or other paperwork.
설마 우리들한테 그런 게 해당 사항이 될까? 진짜 거짓말 같아서 그래서 딱 됐다 그러길래 깜짝 놀랐죠.
Uijeongbu welfare employees came to see this old woman. The city paid for her back surgery, but she was short of money to pay for household expenses.
그때는 진짜 지갑에 돈 1~2만 원이 달랑달랑 있을 정도였어요. 도저히 안 되겠어서 내가 시에 찾아가서 부탁을 드렸죠.
The government of Gyeonggi Province launched in November last year its so-called Infinite Caring Project. Once an emergency call is received, officials conduct an on-site assessment within 8 hours and make a decision on action within 3 days.
상황이 발생됐었을 때 우선적으로 지원해줘서 그 사람이 위기를 도움이 될 수 있도록 해주고.
The Infinite Caring program requires making quick on-site decisions without administrative red tape and allocating extensive budget. 1,800 families have benefited from the new program over the past 2 months.
Tangerines are very popular in winter here in Korea. A new variety has been developed recently and they're sweeter and fresher to the palate. Let's take a closer look.
Ripe, juicy tangerines hang from the tree branch. The native Jeju tangerine, popular for its freshness, has been crossbred with a sweeter breed. The newly developed breed is named Tamdo No. 1. The sweetness is measured 12 to 13 bricks, which is about 2 to 3 bricks higher than ordinary tangerines. Meanwhile, the new breed contains less than 1% of acid to give a crunchier and fresher taste. Most of the tangerines produced in Korea are developed from Japanese breeds, but this one has been developed from a native Korean species using domestic technologies.
이 FTA 파고를 넘고 세계 감귤 시장에 출하할 수 있는 그런 품종이 지금 탐도일 뿐만 아니라 앞으로도 계속 나올 수 있을 거로.
The new breed is to be distributed to farms this year and is expected to go into the market in 3 to 4 years. The product may provide a breakthrough in the markets as a solution for the free trade deals.
A climb up the winter mountain to see snowy scenery can mean long hours out in the freezing cold carrying heavy equipment. But you can now enjoy the view in an easy and simple way. Let's find out. Mount Togyu in Cholla and Gyeongsang provinces is famous for its snow-covered winter wonderland landscape. It's more popular in winter than in other seasons. Besides having the beautiful snowy scenery, the mountain is easy to go up to enjoy the spectacular view. A 20-minute ride in a cable car takes you up to Seolcheon Peak, 1,520 meters above sea level. They're all excited, as snow can be seen everywhere all the way up.
우리 김에서는 이런 구경하기가 참 힘들거든요. 생전 처음 하는 구경이어서 너무 좋아요. 편하게 올라올 수도 있고.
At Seolcheon Peak, you can take a walk around the vast snow-covered grounds and take a breath of fresh air. Thanks to the cable car, the climb up the peak isn't that hard for even young children. Now let's get a closer look at the snow on Mount Togyu. The snow crunches under your feet walking along the path. There are exquisite snow flowers blooming everywhere. The clear blue sky and snowy white trees form a fantastic view. You almost expect to meet the Snow Queen at a place like this.
너무 환상적이고 진짜 동화 속에 날아온 것처럼 너무 아름답습니다.
If you want to stay here a little longer, you can stay at this shelter for the night. You can bring your own pots and pans and cook meals here too. At the smell of food, people gather together and strangers become friends in no time. A beautiful birthday cake makes its appearance.
저희 일행 중에 생일인 분이 계시거든요. 그래서 생일 파티 준비하고 있는데 1600고지에서 이렇게 생일 파티 해드리면 아마 무지하게 좋아하실 것 같아요.
A night at the mountain peak shelter with romantic parties like this could be another unforgettable experience. Next morning, people get up early to see the sunrise. The highest peak is only 10 minutes up from the shelter. The view from the mountain top is indescribable. The sun slowly rises, painting the mountain range orange. The view seems more special as it's the new year.
새해를 아들하고 이렇게 정상에서 같이 올라오니까 또 소감이 또 다르네요. 온 세상이 다 세상을 내가 가진 것처럼 너무 좋습니다. 아마 올 2009년도에도 아마 잘 되리라 생각합니다.
So how about a family outing to snow-covered Mount Togyu to make your New Year's resolutions? And it's time now for a look at today's economic indicators, followed by world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Joining me tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching.